This is the Black American Heritage Flag, and if this is your first time seeing it, then you are in the right place. It was in Elizabeth, New Jersey, that a young man named Melvin Charles sat on the curb watching the parade go by in his hometown. And as he watched, he saw how much pride people took in waving the flags of their countries, but did not feel the same connection to the American flag. In a powerful PBS special, Charles talks about how this conviction stayed with him for many years until he joined forces with one of his neighbors, Gleason T. Jackson.
Down the street, honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro, at that time we were called, I remember every year we would march down. And guess what? All we had was the American flag. And I went home to my mother, and I remember asking her, and I think I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 at that point. I said, Mommy, why don't we have a flag?
They wanted something that would represent the unique heritage of Black Americans, acknowledge their contributions to the United States, and something that will be a symbol for cultural pride. And eventually, they decided on a flag. Every piece of the flag, from the fig leaves to the blunted sword and the colors chosen, had a specific meaning. In 1967, once the flag was officially designed, Charles and his partner Gleason took the flag to City Hall, where after facing opposition, it was supported by the mayor and officially hoisted in Newark, New Jersey. It was an astonishing moment of pride that ignited a movement. About a year and a half after the flag was designed, Gleason T. Jackson was killed in a factory accident in the plant that he worked in at the time. However, Melvin Charles continued his activism and spent many years educating others about the flag and all that it represented. He even released a book in 1994 called The Rallying Point, where he detailed his long journey of the creation of the flag. And after decades of educating and empowering communities with the Black American Heritage Flag, on March 15, 2017, Melvin Charles passed away. I had so many questions after learning this incredible story, so I spoke with Melvin Charles' oldest daughter, Joy Charles Kay, who is president of Black American Flag LLC. And we spoke more in depth about the Black American Heritage Flag and how more and more people today are beginning to represent it.
So to start, I feel like this is the most prominent question when people first hear about this flag is Sure. Why is it not everywhere and why do more people not know about it?
I think that's a great question. I think for many years, my father attempted to have this flag circulated across the nation. He traveled to many different states. He even wrote a book about it called The Rallying Point. And he did the best that he could with limited funds to increase awareness. However, I think a few years ago, when I basically woke up and took over because of the internet and because of the way information travels now, it's just made it easier to get the word out now than it was then. I just think it wasn't his time. Back then, even though he laid all the groundwork for it. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Just seeing, how your father brought it from that point, and then you carrying that torch today to even seeing Saweetie on the Met Gala carpet with the Christian Allen gown. I mean, how did you feel when you saw that?
I was blown away. Actually, my children were blown away because they're millennials. So they were like, Mom, you can't tell us anything now. Sweetie's wearing, Grandpa's flag. But I thought, this is fantastic, that this younger generation is beginning to know what this flag is and that they are represented through this flag.
Other tributes to the flag include the former 2021 Miss Wisconsin, Kira Yuang, who won Miss United States of America 2022, as she dazzled judges with this gown for the patriotic wear category of the competition.
I was doing a little digging on Instagram, and I saw a picture of what looks to be your daughter or Mr. Charles's granddaughter wearing
my
shirt.
daughter.
Yes. Can you tell me a little about that?
Okay, so my daughter, I think she was a first grader at that point, and at her school they had an event where they honored or they wanted to recognize everybody's different cultures. And so, of course, because of my father, I said, Justine, that's my daughter's name, you should wear, Grandpa's flag. So he drew the flag on a shirt and he painted it for her, and that's what she wore back in 1996, I think it was.
Wow. From your perspective and, from conversations with your father, what was the big difference between the Pan-African flag and then the Black American Heritage flag?
Well, the Black American Heritage flag really came out of my father's idea and Gleason Jackson's idea too, to have something that represented Blacks who were born and raised in America, came from slavery, worked very hard to raise families, to finally get jobs, to finally get the vote. And I would say that's the main difference, to celebrate who we are and all the contributions that we have made to this country. My father was a veteran, and he believed in this country, and he believed that we offered a lot to America. And I would say that's the biggest difference between the two flags. His whole mission with this flag was for us to be proud of who we are and proud of what we've brought to this country, what we continue to do in this country, that we belong here as much as any other immigrant, that we've been here a very long time. And that's basically what he wanted, was us to feel comfortable in our skin and in our own country, and not to feel like, we don't belong here.
Melvin Charles created the flag that he always wanted as a kid, and it'll be this flag that will continue his legacy.
Just my last question, what do you think your father would say, seeing today how many people are becoming aware of something that he really dedicated his life to, and something that's resonated and it's continuing to resonate with so many that felt the exact same way that he felt during that parade when he was a kid?
I think he would be so overwhelmed by it. I think he would say, well, it's about time. But, he would be so overwhelmed by the number of people who have gravitated towards it, people who have used it on social media. I think, he would just be overwhelmed and so happy and so proud of the fact that, the flag, that people are finally getting it. And sometimes it takes a generation for things to take root and to move forward.
As demonstrations continue around the country, people are beginning to celebrate their culture and their ancestry with the Black American Heritage flag.
To the businessman that was in me, and there was a piece of the child that's still in me, that I could stand there and wave the flag.
You can find more information on the flag and original designs of the merchandise at originalblackamericanheritageflag.com. This has been a report by Aaliyah Seabrooks.